Hello, welcome to my Sky video. This video is basically a deep dive on all of the places in the game that I feel like is relevant to piecing together some type of story or explanation of what's happening, because there's not a lot of information given in the game itself, although there is a fan wiki, but that, again, to my knowledge, is written by fans and none of the information is officially approved by the developers. So this will just be my take on the game and my interpretation of it and sharing my experience of it, and ultimately encouraging you to play it and try it out for yourself, or at least appreciate it for its beautiful art, music, and atmosphere. Let's fly right in. We are now a sky kid. We are getting winged light, which is hidden all around this new world. And this winged light helps us fly further and faster. Since winged light is a precious resource and can be lost, every Sky Kid's priority is to keep it safe so that they can light others' lights. Good morning, it's a new day. I'm in my apartment, which is scantily decorated. I'm in a new outfit and I'm going to be showing you how the different outfits work. This outfit I'm trying on is from one of the seasons, and these seasons happen every 3 months. This is a default outfit, another default outfit, and those come from the main spirits that you get from the default gameplay. This again is from a special season that was temporary. Next, we're going to choose a mask. This is a very important part of your outfit because it expresses your emotions and how you're feeling that day. The sky people can't talk, but they do communicate via animal calls. I think they might have a written language. So today I'm feeling a bit teary, or fierce, or hidden, mysterious, or emotional, expressive. Next, we're going to choose my hair. We have a lot of girly hairstyles and a few boy hairstyles. They were very random in how I got them. So honestly, if you have a boy character, you're going to struggle to find cool hairstyles, I'm not going to lie, but over time you will, as you interact with more spirits and also traveling spirits that come with the seasonal events of the game. There are also hair accessories. This is like a coral ocean-y hair accessory that came with the season of Aurora. These tusks, I think, are very fierce and have like a warrior vibe that I forgot which season, but it had a desert and the characters were all in a desert. Here's me trying on some capes of different colors that I've collected over time. I don't really have very many instruments right now, but I'll get more. I just want to explain the spirits. So these are non-playable characters that if you interact with them and do missions and tasks for them and relive their stories, you can earn hearts and outfits and gifts, and also learn more about how these people live by reliving some of the spirits' memories from a third-person perspective. As for the lore, it is vague and nothing is written down. There's only symbolic language and images written on the walls that you use to piece together the story of what happened to this place, because as we explore the realm of Sky, we know that it is ruins. Another important aspect of the game is the real-life friendships you can make with the other players that regularly played with me at one point. It's a bit sad because I really don't hear from these people anymore, but my best friends were Lukey, Pookie, and Cyril, and I remember Luke would take us to out-of-bounds areas and show us beautiful places that you won't usually be able to reach on the map, and I really appreciate the beautiful times we had together. In terms of the buildings and architecture, everything is very round. They use a lot of arches and everything is thick and curved and seems to be made of stone, ceramic, metal, or wood. There is an example of a golden metal also being used for the bell towers, especially in the Daylight Prairie. I do think they had a written language because of the symbols on the walls, and you'll see stone tablets that may or may not be enchanted in the Vault of Knowledge, because a lot of the spirits from the Vault of Knowledge have magical powers. As we can see, as we enter the shop, they have candles, they have lights, they have plants hanging, pots, pillows, soft fabrics, different colored dyes, all sorts of things. The people of Sky did have their light and magic to aid them. Literally, when they needed to light things, they seemed to use a magical energy force As you can see, they also could make potions that have temporary effects, such as making you smaller or bigger. These people took meditation and relaxation extremely seriously. Leisure was a way of life. And a lot of spirits show that they took their lives slowly and patiently. Here is another location that a spirit leads us to. It is an underground cave system with flowing, colorful water, and it is definitely made simply for meditation and introspection. So this cave is in the Aviary village, which, by the way, I thought the Aviary village was an extension of the Daylight Prairie. I realize it's not. We need to get rid of them because they seem to stop portals, gateways, and machines from operating properly. And if you free the light inside, then it can also reveal trapped butterflies as well. And the light we can harvest and use for our own. Light seems to be a very powerful resource in this world since it's used to fly and also power technology, and that could have been what the war was about. As we can see, as we free the butterfly, we also collect light from the dark plant that has been corrupted. Here is an example of the symbolic language used in the Isle of Dawn, where on a cave wall it depicts a scene of a staff and people looking up to it and the stars, seeming optimistic. Next, there is a temple along with the staff, and there are many more people now, seeming a larger population, looking up to it, worshipping the temple elder. I'm guessing the Isle of Dawn's temple, but this story can kind of apply to all of the temples that fell. It seems that the temple fell, the stars are less, the people are less, and all that's left is the staff representing the Isle of Dawn. Here we can see a sky kid because they have a cape. They have fallen from the sky just in time to help the sad people, and I think that's us. And this is the first introduction we get to the world and our mission in this world as a sky kid. This is the first thing we see in the game. By name, the Isle of Dawn suggests that it is the place of birth of this civilization and maybe the oldest kingdom out of all of the realms. We can see the temple in the distance, and in that temple is an elder spirit. We are told that our mission is to awaken these elder spirits who seem to be in a slumber so that they can, take responsibility for their realm again. We light their candle to ignite their spirit again. This is the theme of using our light to burn away darkness or fatigue or slumber, to awaken people, spirits. Another important thing to remember is that any object that has been corrupted by darkness has trapped light inside that we need to reveal by burning away the darkness, basically. That's the goal. There are sunken ships, and I've seen these ships move in the game, so I think they may have been flying ships, but they could have also been used on the ocean, which is right next to the desert. Immediately after the Isle of Dawn Temple Elder is awakened, we can see that the huge door to Eden is also awakened, almost as if it's alive. We are told this place is called the Eye of Eden, and that refers to a storm that is constantly raging at the center of it. So the next realm would be the Daylight Prairie, but I want to talk about the Valley of Triumph because it is very similar to the Isle of Dawn for me because it's also a deserty place. You can skate here on the crystal ice. I think it's like a mineral crystal sort of rock formation that we're on right now. And we can also go underground to see more of this crystal formation, as well as those adorable baby jellyfish and flowing golden plants. We go through ruins of towers, buildings, a ruined kingdom, a city that seemed to be very beautiful but is now sunken in sand. We end up at this Colosseum, and this is where they held sort of Olympic events, sports events, skating events. I think anything formal and, formal functions like that. We can collect a lot of spirits here, and I think this is the fanciest place. This kingdom had a theme of red and orange going on for sure. Everything is red and orange here. This kingdom seemed to value sports as well as the arts through skating and music. There's a lot of music halls that you'll see as we explore this realm further. There are also spaces for dramatic arts performances, so I would say plays and perhaps operas. Here I'm reliving the memories of this figure skater spirit who used to live in the Valley of Triumph and practiced with a musician. We see this theme of celebration of life continued as the entrance to the Colosseum literally has people playing trumpets or some kind of instruments. Here are some of these floating brass/golden rings that is in the other Colosseum by the Valley of Triumph, and I don't know what they're for, maybe for sports or some kind of activity like that. We see pads below emitting blue light is what's keeping them suspended, right? This is one of the many examples of the people of Sky combining magic with technology. Where the location of my apartment is in the aviary village. It's very typical of the look of the daylight prairie. It's very green, it's lush, they seem to get a lot of rain, a lot of sunshine. And although the aviary village is not in the daylight prairie, I think the daylight prairie is the same. It's very lush, green, grassy, a lot of sunshine. I think they get a lot of rain as well. And I'm assuming this place is like great for like agriculture, I'm assuming, I don't know. And they have an abundance of manta rays, which they almost seem to worship in maybe a religious sense, because there are so many shrines that you can light for the manta rays. And these bell towers are specifically to summon the manta rays in a kind of rite of passage as you ride them towards the temple. I'm also collecting wax from the candles here, and that you can do daily. The wax over time can be used to build candles of your own, and this candles acts as the currency to buy outfits and stuff. Every sky kid seems to need light to fly and potentially live, and they get light from the flame of candles, as well as butterflies and animals that share their light with you, and certain plants. We can see the mystery of the ruins persist, like what are these buildings? What were they used for? Why are they different sizes? You know, who oversaw them? Is there a spirit here that oversaw them? Are they grain silos? Why are they cylindrical? So many questions. I'm jealous that the people of Daylight Prairie just get a view like this, like all the time. Here in the Daylight Prairie is also the Sanctuary Islands, which is very hidden and kind of hard to find the first time, but it seems to be a getaway island of relaxation, and we see more of the wildlife here, of the fully grown jellyfish, the manta rays flying with the birds, and we have some natural waterfalls and a lake and an ocean. I'm assuming, since this is all one world, that the ocean connects to the one that we see in the Isle of Dawn. In Sky, people communicate not with words, but with expressions. So this is dance moves, different hand movements, even like different expressions of magical powers, clapping hands, pointing in different directions, just all types of expressions that you can collect. And there's one expression per spirit, so you can accumulate them over time to express yourself better, kind of like building a vocabulary. One of the features I think is cute is the ability to take a spirit with you for the day, and there's the little blue spirit next to me. And unfortunately, I couldn't record a video clip of it because my friends haven't been online at the same time as me in a while. But you can also hold hands with a friend and basically let them guide you through the game with whatever you guys want to do together. Here, as we enter the Vault of Knowledge, we also see the motif of diamonds. It's even in the gravestones, and it also made me notice the diamonds on my cape and the little diamonds that are on the tablets, the stone tablets on the walls. And I don't know what it represents. I think it may represent light or magic or magical technology in general. Here in this sort of cylindrical panopticon in the Vault of Knowledge, we see the motif of the diamond decorations explored further, and also here are doorways or gateways to all of the different areas of the seasons that have so far been incorporated into the game. So each season comes with new accessories and expressions and spirits and stuff, like I said. Here we can see one of my favorite spirits, which is not really a person, more like a sentient plant, which is the rose. And I don't even know if it was a plant in its original life, but it was lonely, except it had one friend, which was the little prince, and they lived on a planet together, which was small, if I remember correctly, and they got separated, and something bad was happening to the rose. It was really sad, this story of the Little Prince season, but something about the rose and also its connotations to Beauty and the Beast. It stands strong, but it's also fragile. Another detail of mine that I love is that the developers always remind you of Eden and have it looming in the background of numerous scenes. Before I explain what the Eye of Eden really is, I want you to take note of how it looks. Do you see how it seems that there is the top of the building that has been separated from its base and has been lifted into the air? There is a force of light going directly through it, and above the force of light, there are clouds that are permanently together, permanently creating an ongoing lightning storm. Now, this may sound like a wild interpretation, but this is what I'm getting. I think the ruler of Eden got power hungry and something happened. He did something out of his depth and he kind of like energetically exploded. And when he started rising up along with this light force that came out of him, or that he summoned rather, the top of the building that he was in, which is the tower bit, also lifted up with him in the air. And I do think that there's a person in that part of the building that is suspended in the air because of the fact that there is a light halo around that portion that is suspended. And I think a light halo is always a symbol of a soul or a winged light. And yeah, that means that there was a person or a spirit there. I think the storm was an unintended side effect of whatever this person was trying to do. And I think that the implications are that there is a tortured soul that is forever suspended between life and death in that storm. We can also see on the gate to Eden that there are 5 mosques, meaning that there are 5 rulers potentially, back when Eden was still a paradise, as its name suggests. I did analyze these mosques, and it seems like they are from each of the other realms. Besides the Isle of Dawn, which is missing, it could suggest that these 5 rulers were ruling Eden at some point and working together, but I'm not sure. The bell tower looks like those we find at the Daylight Prairie, and it suggests that Eden could have been very lush and green and pretty, similar looking to the Daylight Prairie, maybe a similar sort of environment. The bell towers may be used for other things as well, but it seems like they used to summon birds and manta rays, so maybe Eden used to have, lots of birds and manta rays like in the Daylight Prairie. And maybe the krill that you see around Eden, it's those like monsters that you have to avoid when you're going to Eden. That's why I don't freaking go there, because you always die, lose all of your lights, and have to start the game over, and that's exhausting. But the developers do argue that you having to redo the game over and over, to retrieve all your light is like symbolic of the reincarnation cycle or something. I don't know. The journey to Eden is pretty straightforward, as we can see on this map. You're starting at the bottom, going up this mountain range, trying to avoid rocks and, meteors falling and heavy winds knocking you off path. And you usually have to go with friends so that you guys can help each other if one of you loses your light, so that you can sort of save each other. But honestly, at the very end, you will die, and that's just how it goes with Eden. There's no saving anyone. And it's actually beautiful in a way, because from that death comes an immediate rebirth. Something that's related to Eden is the phenomena of shards, which is these red rocks that fall off from the storm, and they fall into different realms, and they can really end up randomly. But if you take away the dark plants, burn them away and stuff, which also reveals the shattered shard that is underneath all of the red rocks, it reveals an ancient memory. Okay, and this is really, really cool. It's like ancient spirits, these little crystals, but they seem damaged by something, I guess the storm. And this particular memory shows jellyfish fleeing something, going to the heavens. Maybe they were going to there for safety because of the heavy storm that was starting in Eden. I keep mentioning this war, and I do think it took place mostly in the Golden Wasteland, which I'm entering now. But first, before I go to the actual wasteland, I want to go on a sky ship that is off to the side here that goes to a water oasis. And here we can get a lot of information about the krill, in my opinion, and what happened there. So also the fact that this is an island with a lot of water around it, it shows the environment of the Golden Wasteland, maybe like centuries before it became a desert wasteland as we see today, So there's these underwater ruins. I think these buildings were to study and keep manta rays, to study their light as like science experiments. Also, there's some cute fish that give off blue energy that allows us to breathe underwater, and the plants do the same. It's very sweet. And I think that's how the sky people were able to build these buildings, have the endurance to stay underwater for so long, because they built very, very deep. Maybe it was like this, like a mining operation going on as well, because this is very deep. And there's a portal or a gateway, and behind that gateway is a very huge I would call it the mother krill. I don't want to spoil how she looks. She's beautiful. Just play the game and see her for yourself. She is mother for sure. Here's another example of symbols on the wall telling us what the hell is going on here. At the top, I think that maybe the top of the building or maybe an altar or something, but below it we can see the different levels of the underground building with people on the left taking care of or studying manta rays of different sizes, small and big ones, and people on the right working with these machines or whatever they are. They look diamond shaped. Again, this diamond symbol, which is symbolic of light, I'm thinking. I don't know. This is what I'm picking up from the visual language of the game so far. And at the very bottom there, this spiral, that's Mother. She's evil, but I think the humans made her like that. I think she used to be a good manta ray, and something got messed up. There's also a middle section where someone seems to be putting an offering, which is going to be given to the big krill at the bottom there by the people who are near her. That offering is diamond shaped, and it looks like the diamonds that are on those little machine thingies on the right, which I don't know if it's used to study the manta ray or the diamond is symbolic of the light that the human scientists got from the manta rays that is now being fed to the big manta ray at the bottom, which is like light cannibalism because it's like eating the light of your own kind in a way. And then maybe that's why the manta got corrupted, because it's like wrong, it disrupts the harmony of the universe or whatever to force a manta ray to eat the light of its own kind. And those manta rays that it was fed was probably killed. But I really am running wild with the theories here. We don't know what's going on. This is the epitome of how mysterious Sky is, because I genuinely don't know what's going on here, and I even played like the whole quest, and even if you play it, you still won't know what's going on here, but you might have more insights. So if I really were to come up with a concrete theory, which I don't like doing, I would say that maybe the fact that consuming light from others in a cannibalistic or vampiric way is bad, and that causes corruption and darkness, and then we get the dark plants and the storm and all of that, and the wars. But if we share our lights with others by lighting their candle and stuff and expanding the lights instead of like taking it from others, it's better and it makes the world better, and the world responds better to it in general. I don't know. That's the vibe I'm getting. Once again, I didn't want to spoil the underwater quest, right? But the ending is basically that Mother, or the huge corrupted krill or manta ray, releases all of these fish that we see now so that the ocean can be populated by fish again, because they were basically all being kept inside of her stomach. So I'm like, did the humans feed her the damn fish? Like, what happened? Okay, we're leaving our aquatic adventure and going back to the Golden Wasteland. The Golden Wasteland, I feel like, from what we see, it was a kingdom that was heavily protected with a force, like a military force. We see towards the back of it, there were battles that happened, and from this realm, the spirits are a lot of warrior spirits, and we can get warrior masks from them, which were used in battle to protect the face, of course. Here, there's a spirit of a refugee, so at least towards its downfall, there is definitely a lot of fighting happening here, a lot of battles. You do get some peaceful spirits who live in harmony with the crabs. There's a lot of crabs here and stuff. But the crabs, I don't know if they're just part of the natural environment, but they seem to hurt the sky people. I don't know if they're naturally like that or if they were corrupted by the darkness. Anyhow, the crabs are harmful, and the water is polluted as well. It also steals our lights. So clearly the darkness was spread here somehow. Again, we see many cool like stone buildings sunken in sand, lost time and wind, I'm not sure if the game is trying to give us the impression or the narrative that all of the Golden Wasteland used to be an oasis until something happened that made it be called the Golden Wasteland, because the darkness seems to have spread really bad here, and there doesn't seem to be like any live people still living here. Like, it's just spirits, and us. Like, as we burn away her darkness, we can see the woman's spirit revealed, and the expression that we learn from this lady is jumping in fear. The game likes to use these gaudy and unnatural looking pipes in like random areas where they don't really belong in like ancient cities to symbolize industrialization. I wonder if whatever process is used to extract light with their technology, whatever's, causes some kind of pollution that they need to get rid of. So maybe the pipes are for that and not just for like obvious sewage reasons. Here's another dark plant, and the game implies that the green air is polluted and the dark water is also polluted because it steals our light. That could be what the darkness was all along. Hey, it could be pollution, because this game is very much like about climate activism as well. I didn't want to go back to the Golden Wasteland because honestly, I've been there enough. I'm done for my lifetime. As you can see from the photos, there's a lot of skeletons. They really could be anything, but I speculate they're either krill or manta rays that got really big. It's very hard to make a life here. There's basically constantly krill surrounding the internal areas, like the whole place was breached by the darkness. And there's also holes in all of the walls that are supposed to be protecting the city. There's also this area with the sunken ship. This sunken building slash ship, I think it's a building, has one of those light pillars. The diamond on this pillar on the left, and also where it is placed in Treasure Reef, kind of makes me think that this could be the sort of pillar that they were depicting on the wall art at the bottom of Treasure Reef, right? And I've seen pillars like these multiple times with blue diamonds, so I think it must be significant to channeling light. I don't know, that's just what comes to mind, the words channeling light. Here by the Forgotten Ark, I should have known by the name, but the first time I saw it, I did think that the ship was used for commerce or trade between the different realms. But I guess upon further review and looking at the art, I see that it's actually depicting a scene of a lot of people gathering all their supplies and in groups going on sky ships with the manta rays into the heavens. I think there must have been some apocalyptic events like flooding. On the left, we see there's people with umbrellas like shielding themselves from a wave of water. And then they got in the sky ships only to be caught in the storm of Eden. By the way, this is another player's footage. As we fly through the desert, we can see more sunken buildings, and out of interest, I googled some reasons, natural and human reasons why the buildings might be sunken like this. And also it might explain why they look like that in the Valley of Triumph. We can see that the leftover shields and spears that are here have the symbol of the Eye of Eden, so it could suggest that the Golden Wasteland and Eye of Eden were the ones who were fighting, but we still don't know which of the two parties won, or if neither won. I don't know, maybe they destroyed each other in the process. So leaving all the heavy stuff, we see near the Avery village there's this meditation zone, and it has a labyrinth which is used for introspection. There's also this really cool lily pad pond and a spirit gateway with some ringing bells, or maybe I should call them wind chimes rather. They have feathers, which is really cool. We see Japanese-inspired spirit gateways and lanterns. So on the left is the spirit gateways called Tori, and in Shintoism and Buddhism, they symbolize the transition from the mundane to the sacred. And those spirit lanterns are called Toro, and they ward off evil spirits and are used to make light offerings, as you can see that we have the option to do. I love the vibes of the hidden forest. It seems very peaceful to live here, although very wet, and the lighting is always gloomy, but I think you would get used to it. And the presence of the jellyfish and the lichen on the trees that recharge you are very much a favorite feature of mine. They also use wood for the houses here, which is a defining feature, and all of the houses are tree houses, of course. This is a very nostalgic spirit story for me. So this girl has this cute expression, and she's going into this cave with her lover who has an umbrella, obviously because it's always raining. And then she's ahead of him. She's like, come on. She has a drum and stuff. And then she makes it there. She's scared. And then he's not there. And it's like, what's going on? And yeah. But her expression is the in love expression. I'm wondering if her boyfriend fell to his death during that jump that they had to do, because it was a really big jump. I don't know. I'm just presuming here. By the way, so sorry, I forgot to show you guys the chibi masks. So that's like these masks that turn you small, and you can do like a Super Saiyan run, which is like very cute. And yeah, there's only one type, and this is how it looks when you're flying with it on. You're like toddler size. It's very cute. Also, I forgot to show you, here's a clip of the event candles. So all of them are orange, but they have the symbol of that current event. And then here's a scene from the Moomin, I think it's the Moomin collaboration, and you act as a little butterfly going through the field, which is black and white, and I just really dig that. Guys, here by the season of Aurora, if you missed the Aurora concert, you really are missing out, champ, because this place lit up. It turned into a whole concert venue. I just want to analyze the artwork that was added from season of Aurora. Down there we have some green crabs. We also have these 2 gates or guards. They're like guards or soldiers with spears. And then we have the Aurora Borealis patterns like in the sky. And by the way, this thing is flowing from left to right, but I'm going right to left, sorry. See some manta rays, more of those guards. And I'm assuming it's Aurora Borealis because obviously season of Aurora, you know. Manta rays, we see these floating islands, and on the left those spinning rings at the other Colosseum. The floating islands could also be the windways. I saw some skyships in the sky with the manta rays. We see people racing on the manta rays to the finish line, so manta racing as a sport, I'm assuming. Here we see a mining operation going on, or people digging up rocks. We see some purple jellyfish on the side as well. More people digging up rocks. Maybe those rocks were used as eventually the bricks to build this place. Who knows? But yeah, maybe it's just explaining the Valley of Triumph, the different areas of it, how everything flows in harmony, or how everything flowed in harmony. So on the left here, I want to draw your attention. You can't see it yet. Hold on. We see more people down there, birds, butterflies. And of course we have some adorable fish. This is either a testament to my craziness or the visual language of the game, because I'm now in this lost refugee kingdom, right? I think it's like the offspring of the refugees from the war with Eden and the Golden Wasteland back in the day, right? I think. So there's armed guards, like, you know, they're obviously making sure that no one's going to attack them again. Clearly they have some boo-boos of people who have attacked them. But this is the only place in the game that explicitly has real people and not spirits. So it's cool to interact with like real people. But this place is stationed right in front of Eden. I don't even want to consider the incest that could have occurred in this confined area over hundreds of years. But I digress. So we have the industrial pipes, right? So they were using that blue technology or the light technology, the industrial technology. So we see the pillar of light behind us, which confirms the existence of those light pillars like in real life for the first time we see them, because it was depicted on the cave wall underwater at Treasure Reef, and now we see it for real, and it's blue light. So I'm thinking blue light is technology light, and like white light is inherent light that we get from like live beings. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Another dark place my mind went to is the fact that they have manatees like pinned up in like a coop, kind of like for them, you know. There's these like little floating manatee things. I'll insert a clip if I can find one. But what I was confused about is like, why are the manatees being like kept as livestock in that way? Because it wasn't giving pets, it was giving livestock, in my opinion, the way that they were kept. And this is not like an abundant place. Like they don't even have the resources to fix some of the holes in the walls, so it's giving like poverty in a way, right? So it's like, why would they keep them unless they're a resource of light to keep powering the technology? Because they have to do some fucked up things to the animals to get the you know what I'm trying to go here with, right? So the manatees, I don't think all of them are being kept as food or livestock. Some of them I think are companions or pets because of the relationship that you can form with them towards the end of the quest. The quest where you find the lost city, right? My question still stands. Why are the manatees being kept in pens like they're goats or something? Like, girl. And you know, these people don't have a lot of animals in their world, so maybe they do have to eat the manatees for meat, and we shouldn't be judging them for doing what they gotta do. If you only have jellyfish, what are you gonna eat? Jellyfish stew. Exactly. So we can't really judge them for that, but I think the game is trying to criticize vague spiritual things like taking and exploiting from nature and the land until it dies, and uneven energy exchanges whereby you're taking another creature's light and not giving them any light in return. Because the game is always about fair light exchange between people, between animals. You are giving them light, they are giving you light. But it seems like the people started getting greedy and taking and not giving back. And then we get the industrial technology era that brought the downfall of this world, according to the storytelling of the game. So I don't know. Okay, so breaking news. Upon further exploration of the underground caves, we see more cave artifacts. So there's these manta rays. They're trapped in these bubbling machines. People are operating the machines, I'm guessing extracting light or some kind of resource from them. That big tower on the right is being used to open these gates or portals. Using the manta rays, I don't know. And then we see more people ushering in fish and manta rays. So it's like something insidious going on. Obviously, it's kind of vague. If you can interpret this any better, please do. A lot of other players are also coming to the same conclusions as me, so I think I'm pretty spot on. The manta rays are being converted to either light or dark energy. The black waters we see are indeed poisoned waters as a result of this process, and also the big spiral manta ray got converted into a mother krill or a dark dragon, basically, because of the pollution in the water, or maybe she was experimented on as well by the humans. We don't really know, but it's a sad story nonetheless. Okay, this is one of the many entrances around the realms to the wind paths. The idea is basically the people here lived a nomadic lifestyle where they followed these slipstreams of winds, right, to carry them to the different parts of the land. It's like shortcuts, like going around the back route to the different places. So in the center of the wind paths is the actual floating islands, which we see depicted on the art at the Valley of Triumph Colosseum, if I remember correctly. But the people who lived here are living a blessed lifestyle because they can basically go to any part of the realm at any time and then come back home and sleep in Wonderland, like on these floating islands. Like, I think it's cool how it's built into the rock and stuff, and it's like minimalistic. Also, this is the symbol for the wind pass. It's at every entrance. Welcome to the Cave of Prophecies. It's in the Isle of Dawn. It's just a bit hidden, but you come here and you basically do the trials to get balanced with the 4 elements. And I don't mean it in an avatar way where you can literally manipulate the 4 elements, but rather work with them and around them in a way that's just efficient for like optimal human life and symbiosis with the environment, because I feel like a big theme of this game is working in harmony with the environment and the elements around you. For the most part, the cave art depicts what is to be expected from the trials. So what you're going to find, the mazes, the creatures you're going to face, like for example the dark worms from the Prophecy of Fire, and also just other things that we already knew, like the dark dragons and the crabs and stuff. So the dark dragons are also called krills, by the way. I think this first section is just depicting the ascension of people gathering the knowledge of the elements to help them ascend to the temple. I'm assuming because we're in the Isle of Dawn, this would be the Isle of Dawn's temple, right? I also want to mention these people that have the diamond-shaped heads / diamond-shaped hats. I think they work with the elements of water, and I think that they were also depicted on the cave wall, the underwater art, right, at treasure reefs. I'm thinking these are the scientists, okay? That's what I'm thinking. So see the paradoxical flow of the world, because the realms have their own kind of flow, and then Eden has its own axis of gravity and sort of rotation going around it as the storm continues to move around Eden, right? And also the dark dragons also are depicted as moving in flow with the storm. So I like the idea that's depicted of these, you know, opposing flows of nature, but still somehow they're working in harmony. Like, still somehow Eden is part of the world, and it just is. So if I were to analyze this, right, starting here, we have the symbol for the Isle of Dawn, and then they're in skyships. So I think them, including the Daylight Prairie as well, have the elements of air. Okay, cool. Next, we see those people with the diamond hats. We see the symbol for the hidden forest. Actually, I stand corrected. It's not the Vault of Knowledge. Along with the manipulation of water, I believe, and rain and weather maybe. So that's the elements of water. And then We see green representing Earth, and that's also the symbol for the Valley of Triumph, which is the red place, if you don't remember. And that's also where we saw the floating islands. So maybe they have control over Earth, and maybe at the wind paths as well, it explains the floating islands. Maybe people brought it up into the sky, and the islands weren't floating there the whole time. But who knows, honestly? They could be a natural feature of this world. So the red spark we see is the elements of fire wielded by the people of the Golden Wasteland, right? We see the symbol of the Golden Wasteland, and we see someone who is like a warrior ready to go into battle, and they have a spear. So, and that's where the battleground is as well. So it's definitely them. And behind that guy, we see these, I don't know what to call it. I think that there are the towers that are channeling the energy, the red energy or the light, the whatever they're using. And I think that because of this picture, with and they're definitely powered by the red technology, which we know the red technology got corrupted, right, by something that happened either in the Golden Wasteland or in Eden, because originally it was fire, or supposed to be fire. Last but not least, let's not forget the vault of knowledge over here, and I think the element is air again, if I'm not mistaken. And lastly, when we look at Eden, there is this idea of the quintessential fifth element, or the quintessence of life, and that would basically be like source energy or purest energy, like the purest of pure. Like, think of energy bending in Avatar: The Last Airbender, which was the fifth type of bending besides the four elements, right? Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, this manipulation of like pure spiritual energy, is because Eden is placed in between the four elements. So to me, it seems people at Eden were looking to connect with an even higher power than the four elements, which would be source energy or the quintessence, what they talk about in the movie The Fifth Element as what? The fifth element, exactly, yes, which is pure universal energy. And maybe they were using it for bad things, good things, we have no idea. I just wanted to show off my in-game ice skating skills. Look at that jump, guys. We're cruising, we're curving in a circle. The perfectest circle that is mathematically possible. We're getting ready for the jump. We're getting ready. 1, 2, yes, okay, even a triple flip in the air. Not a triple flip, what am I saying? I'm trying to be like an Olympic commentator, like it's ice skating, but like this is way more exciting than than the Olympic figure skating. Next, we're exploring my absolute favorite place, I saved the best for last. The music hall in the Valley of Triumph is where you can collaborate with strangers. There are private and public playing spaces. You can play using your own instruments or borrow the instruments that are available here for free. So you can try them out before you buy them, and the way you buy them is by doing quests with certain spirits. Kindly enjoy my freestyle playing along with some strangers. The environments are so peaceful and quiet, and yet also have this underlying sadness to it, because you know the emptiness is because the civilization used to be a lot more lively. But at the same time, there's a beauty in the quietness of how the world of Sky is, how it is right now. I mean, who's to say that it's wrong just because it's different from how it used to be in the past? It just is a game that makes me comfortable with ambiguity, things not being completely explained, and also accepting the world for what it is in a way. I don't know. Because I accept the game for what it is, even though the developers have not gone out of their way to over-explain the lore. In fact, they've done the opposite. I think they tried to make it confusing for us on purpose, and I don't know whether that's a criticism or a compliment. I don't know. I think it's both. I think I've been avoiding coming here to the Hidden Forest a bit, even throughout my exploration of the game. I only come here when it's necessary because something about the constant rain, the constant gray, and the sad violin music, and the emptiness, and the sunken buildings, it creates a gloomy atmosphere. But I think what's even sadder and what the heart of it is, I mean, my online game friends used to take me here, and when they were here, it didn't feel lonely at all. But when you're just left to sit with the game as it is, as an adult, alone, man, it has a different feeling, and not even in a bad way. I'm getting used to it. I'm starting to like it even. And that's it. That's all my thoughts on this beautiful game, which is complex and intriguing, yet at the same time simplistic and underdeveloped when it comes to its storytelling and lore development. But it really is to your own taste whether you're gonna vibe with the ambiguity and use your creativity to fill in the gaps like I did or not. So toodles!